Are you ready, Coach? Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, as a courtesy to your fellow media members, as well as coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. If you're joining us on Zoom, please raise your hand function for questions. We will address questions in the room first and then get to Zoom if time allows. As always, recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. We will start with an opening statement from our coach and then some questions for the student athletes, followed by questions for the coach. And Coach?
First of all, I thought it was just it was an awesome game. It felt like a SEC kind of game, on the road, rowdy crowd. I love that they showed up for their team. This Waco has been incredibly hospitable, and we have a lot of respect for Baylor. And, I just felt like it was a classic game, a lot of back and forth. Sarah Andrews staring me down every time she made a shot. I told her how much I love that. Someone had to lose, and I'm just glad it's not us. And I'm just incredibly grateful that we were able to come out with a victory.
All right, thank you, Coach. And we'll start with our questions. Bob? Skylar?
Skylar Dixon with the AP. Sarah, your nose okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. I noticed it early in the game, but did you have it at the beginning, or did something happen early that you needed to make sure it was okay?
Yeah, something happened in the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess while I've still got the mic, Madison, you appeared frustrated after a couple of foul calls early. You were looking for a foul call on one of those buckets late. What were the conversations with Coach Yo or others about trying to keep you in the moment, and how did that help you when it came time to hit that key shot late?
Yeah, a lot of emotions this game, because of what was at stake. But thank God for my teammates. Thank God for my coaches. They settle me down. They tell me, that look at the game. We're in the game, next play mentality. So thankful for them.
All right, Evelyn, do you have a question?
Evie.
Sarah, this question is for you. Can you talk about, you're a true freshman. Can you talk about being ready to step into the spotlight as a true freshman and now heading to play a Sweet 16 game?
Yeah, like we talk about every day. I didn't want to stop playing with her, like my seniors. That's why I will give everything I had. And I don't know how many games we had left, but I will give everything every time I step on the court like I did today, because I don't want to stop playing with them. Yeah.
All right, Skylar?
Madison, Coach Yo mentioned, I don't know if yesterday or 2 days ago, that you were around 3 years ago when you all played here. You all talked a little bit about that. How much was that on your mind, and how special is it to do this after what you went through 3 years ago in this town?
Yeah, it was fitting that God brought us back here, my final year after losing here, getting outs the first round last time. So definitely it was in the back of my head that I wanted to come and lead my team to victory. I wanted to come and it'd be a different story this time, So really, really grateful that we were able to come down here and be successful and get 2 wins. And I'm so excited, for what's to come. So excited to go home, wash our clothes, pack up, and get back, to Spokane. So I'm excited.
All right, Evelyn, did you have a question?
Maddie, can you talk about, you made some big shots down the stretch. Can you just talk about what your mindset was here in this hostile venue and what you were thinking?
Well, there was a lot of things going through my mind, as you can see through my emotion and my passion. But I shoot every day. I put in the work and get up shots every day outside of what's required. So I don't know if you guys noticed down the stretch, I missed 3 shots in a row, And of course, a part of me wanted to be in my head, but I had to remember that I put up shots every single day, that I shoot these shots, that I'm very capable of hitting these shots. So I just had to remind myself, and again, my teammates were telling me, Coach Yo was telling me, let it go, next play. So when it came down to that last play, I just trusted, the work that I put in, trusted God, and just, shot it.
On the offensive boards, you won that margin 16-9. Can you talk about what went into that?
Well, we talk about, our defense, right? But we talk about the possession ending with a rebound. Like it's not a stop unless we come up with the rebound. And for us, rebounding is a sign of toughness, sign of character. So it was a point that we rebounded. On both ends of the floor tonight. We made sure that we were very intentional about it. So yeah, it's just a part of what we do, and we know that in order to be successful and continue to dance, we got to rebound. We have to defend. That's our emphasis every time we step on the floor.
All right, do we have any questions on the floor? Yeah, Elliot.
Elijah Pope, Ball State Daily News for Madison. Baylor ended the first half on a 10-0 run, but you guys came out on a 6-0 run to answer. I guess what changed at halftime?
Well, first, basketball's a game of runs, and Baylor's a really great team, So we knew that they were going to punch back, but coming out of halftime, we just wanted to give our all. We knew we had 20 minutes left, but we weren't ready to go home, and that was the message. The message was, to have no regrets when that buzzer ended, and look, no regrets, so God is good.
All right. Evelyn?
Evie Van Pelt with theRebelWalk.com. Sierra, you were the leading scorer for the Rebels. And again, you had just some big plays there throughout the game, but especially in the second half. And can you talk about your mentality again? It was crunch time in a hostile environment with a lot on the line.
Yeah, I think sometimes someone has to step up. That's what happened. Like, I don't want to think again that I'm a freshman or something. Like, I have to step up there. My team need me to do that every single day. If I don't do it, I'm wrong. Like, that was my mindset today.
She doesn't even sound like a freshman, right?
All right, do we have any questions from the floor? Any other questions? We do have some questions on Zoom, if that's okay, Coach. All right, and we have Sasha Lightborn patiently waiting. And Sasha, do you have any question for the athletes?
Yes, I have a question for Madison. Sasha Lightborn, our news, Nassau, Bahamas. Maddie, just last Sunday you said our defense travels. How important was that statement, especially in this game today?
Oh, it was very, very important. Like I keep saying, Baylor was a really good team. Great players. It was important, that we came here on the road with our defense, ready to with our defense ready, So, again, like I said, our defense travels. In order for us to continue to dance through March, we understand how important it is to play defense. We're going to be playing at different courts. The shots aren't always going to fall. But one thing that's always going to be there is our defense, because that's a will thing. And Coach O harps on us, being willing to do what it takes to win. And, again, defense shows that we're doing what it takes to win.
All right. Sasha, did you have any other questions?
No, I'm good with the players. Thank you.
All right. And we have a question from Donna Sprayberry. Sorry, Donna, I muted you. Let me unmute you.
Okay. Hi, guys. Congratulations. So, coming out at halftime, they had come back strong kind of on you. You're in there at halftime. Coach O and the other coaches have told you what it is you have to do. But what do you as a team talk about that gets your mindset where it needs to be to come in that second half and accomplish what you need to accomplish?
Honestly, we were calling each other soft. I'm being completely honest with you. We're at the point where we lose, we go home. So it's important that we're honest with each other. You got to give, the hard truth. And to end that second quarter, we were being very soft, including myself. Went up a couple times, like you said, sir, expecting a foul call, right? And for us, that's soft. So we just wanted to come out in the second half and be better. Not playing for the whistle, being the aggressor, dictating and disrupting, on both ends of the floor. So I'm really proud of us for doing that.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor? All right, I believe that's everything for our athletes.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So our next question for the coach. Skylar?
Good to see you today, Skylar.
I'm back. I exposed the Associated Press as not taking the expenses, but I'm here on the game
There you
days,
go.
right? Those are the most important days,
I appreciate
right?
that.
I know you don't, just being around you a little bit here, since you don't dwell too much on history, but is there some satisfaction in doing what you did here after what you all went through 3 years ago?
You know, it's satisfaction because I really enjoy coaching this team, and this team has had a goal that they want to go to the Final Four. And so, and we don't get to stop tonight. And we will be one of the remaining 16 teams that will be competing. And you don't have a chance if you're out. So as far as I'm concerned, we will be one of the 16 teams that has a chance to win a national championship. So it's satisfaction in that regard. I'm at peace what happened in the past because for me, that's all a part of being here, and that's what makes it special. So just really, it was really gratifying when the buzzer sounded and we had the victory.
All right, Evelyn?
Well, your team sounds so much like you, and so y'all were underdogs in this game.
Yeah.
And do you feel like their performance kind of reflects you and your mentality and how you approach things?
Well, not in the second quarter. I don't take any responsibility for that. You know, at halftime, they were so riled up. I know a lot of people think I went in there and just threw around chairs and stuff like that. But honestly, I just kept calm, and I just reminded them that versus NC State, we were down 21 and we got back in the game, and versus UConn, we were down 20-something and in one quarter got back in the game. Versus LSU, we were down 16 and won the game. And I just asked them, I said, so you're telling me 3 points is a margin we can't make up? One basket? And then, you know, because sometimes people just need, it needs to make sense, some type of rationale. And they were just going nuts in there. And I was like, I mean, I really want y'all to think about it. It's a one-possession game. They made their run. And now let's make our run. And then when we got in the fourth quarter and it was, in my opinion, 0-0 because it was a tie game, we felt confident.
One more thing. You had 25 bench points to Baylor's 12. So
Yeah.
Can you talk about how important your bench was?
Yeah, I'm always going to sub. I'm always going to start the group that I feel starts the best for us. And I started doing that like 6 games ago. So now everyone's like really comfortable with whatever I decide, even at halftime if I need to make a change. And our group just understands this. Like it takes all of us. You know, we're a super team. You know, so today Sierra was the leading scorer, but then the other game someone else was the leading scorer. Like, thank God Sierra came to play. Where's she been? so you know, but that is our team. You know, KK didn't score at all yesterday. All right, and then Tam says, "Okay, I'll do you one better. I won't score, so you score." So then KK gets 13 and 2. So we're a super team, and that's what makes us special because you can't just key in on one person. We were able to key in on a couple people on their team, and I didn't think they were able to do that, and I thought that was the difference.
All right, do we have any questions from the floor? Skylar.
I wondered your perspective on Madison. When she got that second foul, you had to get her out of the game, and she looked a little upset. It looked like you went and talked to her. What was that conversation, and how much of your mindset was just trying to keep her locked in?
Yeah, I just told her to relax. She was just starting to, the kids say it, crash out. So she was like just losing it. And I'm like, Maddie, first of all, we're up. And secondly, you're fine. Just relax. But she was passionate because she felt like she should have gotten a foul. And again, I'm glad you brought that up because I said at halftime, I said, guys, when do we get calls? When we're on the road. It's called home cooking for a reason. And I thought the officials did a great job during the game. It was a hard game. It was a physical game. I felt like it was going to be what it was. So I was just trying to get her to just calm down.
Oh, and we have one more for Evelyn.
Speaking of KK, I think from 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter,
she brought it home.
6 free throws. She was 6 of 6. So how huge was that? And being a leader on this team and taking any role that she needs.
Yeah, you know, don't tell KK this, but I love her to death. She is really, in a lot of ways, a mini-me, all right? And that's why she drives me nuts most times. But she's fearless. She's a leader. She's competitive. And she's a winner. And when KK came to Ole Miss, I said, you scored 30 points, 25 points, 27 points, but you haven't won. And until you win, then none of that matters. And she has taken that to heart. This is a young lady that came back from 2 ACL injuries. Very prideful. I bring off the bench for a freshman. She had to adjust to that role. Then today I said, hey, you're not starting because I want to give a different look. And she is completely bought in. So really happy for her. She deserves this more, just as much as anybody else.
All right, let's take some questions from Zoom. We have Donna Sprayberry, and you are unmuted.
Hey, Donna.
Let's see. Are you there?
Hey, Donna Sprayberry, the Rebel Walk. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Donna.
So, showing the stands in the game, the crowd was there, they were
Yeah.
supporting, but they showed your husband, and Yuri was. And he was just coaching away. And they showed Maddie's grandmother.
Yeah.
What all does that do for your team and
Yeah.
taking the next round, knowing that love and support is there?
Yeah.
All of us who really support you.
Well, Coach Emp is from Texas. I don't know if people know that. She's from Dallas. So she had 100 people show up. And then Christine's parents live in Waco. So I don't know that people know that. Star is from Texas. And so we had a really good showing. And one of the players from year one, she's from Texas. She was there, Crystal Allen. She came to the game. And my husband's from Texas. He's from Fort Worth, Texas. So it's a family affair. And, you know, I wouldn't want to go through this without, you know, my husband, 2 kids. My mom is here, my sister. We're a team. And so my husband, sometimes I have to talk him down. So he is all in. And just grateful for the fans showing up. And I double dare them to come to Spokane.
All right. Let's see. And we have
You know
a question
Sasha's on
from
there.
Sasha. Yes, we do. She's been waiting patiently. Sasha, are you there? You should be unmuted.
Yeah, there I am.
There you go.
Coach, congratulations, boy. I was screaming.
I already know.
I have 2 questions for you, Coach.
Sure.
I don't know if you know, but Devin Charlton is the world indoor champion.
Yes,
Back today, 60-meter hurdle.
I saw that.
You come behind her and you just pull this thing out of the water, even though it was an edge of your seat game, and we still have the reigning WNBA Finals MVP. Talk to me about being a Bahamian in the spotlight.
Yeah.
It must be, especially having your 2 girls there,
Yeah.
your mom,
Yeah.
I saw in the game as well. Talk to me about what this means for such a little country.
Yeah.
And then I have a second question for you as well.
Sure. Well, you know, like we say, 242 to the world. So I have a whole country that's behind me, and that is not an exaggeration. I turned my phone on, and I had 150 messages and 50 from WhatsApp. And the only people that WhatsApp me are Bahamian people. So my daddy was watching. My brother, I know everybody was super excited. You know, it's a great deal for me to come from a little country and be able to come over here and live the American dream. A lot of people know or don't know my story, but you know, I took the stairs, and you know, I think I've been naturalized maybe 5 years now. I don't remember, but my roots is still Bahamian roots. My family is there. I get a lot of love from my people in the Bahamas, and I just think that when we get an opportunity, we always show out, from Jonquel to Buddy I know I'm going to hear from JJ and Buddy, to Devon. Man, it's just so many of us. VJ, I do root for Baylor, but just VJ. He's a Bahamian. So we have tons of Bahamians out here just doing well, and I'm happy for them all.
Final question for you, Coach.
Sure.
Not last year, the last time you made the Sweet 16 was a lot of tears. You gave us
Yeah.
an epic one-liner. That's a little girl from the Bahamas
Yeah.
that came. It was all like a dream. What's the difference between that time and this time?
Well, I was still emotional. I was crying the whole time, just filled with just gratitude and joy. That's the best way I could. That's the best way I could describe it. I think this time is just a tad different because we expected to win. When we went to Stanford, I thought we could win, but we were outmanned. They had like 3 WNBA players, and we were just there, just having a good time. This time, it was all business. We didn't sightsee. We barely left the hotel. This was a business trip for us. So we expected to win. We don't think we're a 5 seed, but that's what the committee gave us. So, and so we played with the cards that we were dealt. And I think what you saw was, like, I was getting ready to celebrate, and then Maddie was like, let's go, let's get out of here. So it's just a level of maturity from this group. We expected to win.
All right, we have a question from Sam Schuyler. Sam, you should be unmuted.
Hey, Coach O, it's Sam Schuyler from the Clarion Ledger.
Hey.
Kind of like what you were just talking about, but you were obviously pretty disappointed that this team wasn't able to host the regional this weekend. I wonder just how much of a motivating factor was that for this team coming into these 2 games?
You know what, and I've said this, and I really mean this. Had we hosted, I would have been pumped. But I'm really grateful for the pressure we didn't have to go through to win at home. It's just, I don't know if this place is rocking like this all the time, but my mentor, Don Staley, always tells me, like, if you're not used to this type of crowd, it could work against you. And I'm not sure Baylor has this type of crowd all the time. If they do, then okay. But while it's good, it's also something that you have to get used to. And for us, we had no pressure. And, in the SEC, we play in big crowds. So I think this whole 7,000, our pavilion holds 9,000. We've had 8,000, 7,000, 6,000 games at home, fan attendance. And then on the road at LSU, it's packed. So it's in Paris, it was sold out. NC State sold out. We're unfazed by this, and we actually enjoyed it. And the student section, man, they heckled me the whole game. They were respectful, but they had a great time. So, we're just used to it, and we're built to play on the road. And our players understand that free throws and layups matter the most on the road. So, and I want to say this, you didn't ask, but I was really proud of Maddie because when she smoked that layup, to come back and then hit that shot, I don't know, when we played Texas at home, she didn't come back and hit that shot. So I was really proud of her for her growth in that moment.
All right, we have a question from Donna Sprayberry, and let me unmute you, Donna. Let's see. Danielle, can you unmute that? It's not. Okay, there you go, Donna.
Back to what you just said about Maddie and then KK earlier with
Yeah.
his question, getting the free throws down the end. I mean, what does that say for you about the mental toughness of your team, how it's evolved over the year? Because there were times when that wasn't the case.
That's right. But
And so what changed? What's different?
growth, Donna, learning through our losses. When we lost to Texas at home, Maddie had the last shot, and she got to the paint, and she kicked it to Sierra. I told her, we got to win and lose with you. And so that's growth. And it's no knock on Sierra, Maddie is the 5th year senior. So we learned from that. We have really learned through our losses. And so that's what you saw, a team that has had to grow through our losses. And again, we scheduled so that we could possibly host, right? But we gained so much out of that. I don't know who can rattle us. Y'all, we played Southern California, NC State, UConn, LSU, Texas, South Carolina. Our last 10 games, every team except for 3 teams were ranked in the top 15 or below. We are battle tested. So that is what you're seeing, a team that has had a chance to grow through and learn through our losses and then perform on the biggest stage when it matters the most.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Evelyn.
I just have one final question. Are y'all going to go back to
Yeah,
Oxford?
you want to ride?
Yeah. Well, I just wondered. I think maybe was it a few years ago? Did you go directly to the West Coast? So I just wondered what you were doing.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I'm not sure that everyone was prepared for us to beat Stanford. So they had to shift, and it was like, just stay out here. So we have a chance to go back home, which would be great. And, my team, our word is joy. We don't complain a lot. I don't allow them to. And so we would have been grateful regardless. But we'll have to go back home and change out some stuff.
All right. Do we have any more questions from the floor?
All right. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Coach.
Safe travels.
Congratulations. It was a pleasure. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start with a message from the coach, then we'll have student-athlete interviews, and followed by interviews with the coach. Coach?
Yeah, I was telling these guys while we were waiting that I looked up at one point and I thought, wow, this has got to be a really good TV game. I thought down the stretch, both teams made plays, one play after another, to keep it tied, take a 2-point lead, tie it up, take a 2-point lead. I just think they made one more play than us. As much as the offensive rebounds hurt us in key moments, the turnovers hurt us. When you look at the breakdown of the points off of those, it wasn't as significant as it sometimes felt. We did a good job of, even when they would get second opportunities of getting stops. So I thought they made one more play than us tonight and made it at the right time. And, I think if Yaya's 3 goes in, we're maybe celebrating instead of, a really sad locker room. But really, really proud of this team, proud of their resilience, we started with Jana Van Geitenbeek going down the first game of the season. We had Bella go down at Oregon. We had to bring Aaliyah Matharo into the fold. We lost Bugs for a month. But these guys just kept kept clipping along. I think if Nettie had played the first half of the season like the last month of the season, she would have been on that All-American and maybe first team. That's how good she was down the stretch. And so it's hard to believe I won't ever be up on another one of these stages with Sarah Andrews because we've been here together a long time. So she's going to miss me, but I'll miss her more.
All right. Our first question. Jerry, do you have the first question?
Parker Ream, Fox 44. Thank you, Jerry. Sarah, clearly the first question should go to you. What did your time at Baylor mean to you, and how important? Nikki said yesterday she doesn't know if you could live without Baylor.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Coach Nikki can't live without me either. No matter how many headaches I give her. But no, my time at Waco, it's been a great 5 years. It was great fans. I met great people outside of basketball, in basketball. The culture here was just amazing, and just to be here for 5 years, I wouldn't want to do it no other way.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Nettie, you were 5 for 5 in the first half, scored 10 points. Was there anything they did specifically to kind of limit your touches in the second half?
Not really. I mean, I think I could have just been more aggressive and posted up in better spots to keep getting the ball, but they weren't doing anything special.
Shaji Adam, ABC 25. Sarah, we were in the locker room. Bella, Bugs, everybody was talking so much about how much you influenced them, how much of an impact you had on them. What have the younger Bears on this team have meant to you?
They mean a lot. To think about that, I've basically watched them grow up from freshmen to juniors now it's really time for them to become seniors and be the leader of the pack. They were great when they came in. Each game, they surprised me because when they were freshmen, I felt like they were sophomores. They just got better each and every year. And just to watch that group grow up, I know they're going to hold that Baylor name well across their chest next year.
All right, Zach?
Zach Smith, Waco Trib. Sarah, you told me yesterday you expected this game to be a dogfight. Was that kind of the slugfest that you expected? And I guess could you have done anything different at this point?
That was exactly what I expected. Both teams fighting to go to the Sweet 16. The refs was going to let us play. You got to play through some of the fouls that they don't call and know that adversity hit. Even when they got some fouls that we thought weren't fouls, and we got some fouls too. Just knowing that it was a game to go to the Sweet 16, and that's what it was about.
And then Nettie, Nikki mentioned your growth over the second half of the season. I guess is this kind of what you expected when you came here? This kind of play and this All-American level performances.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely goals I had set for myself starting the season, just wanting to be as dominant as possible. Do I wish I could have started playing a little bit better earlier? Yes, but I mean my main focus this last month was just to keep building, just keep working, and just keep excelling off of every game.
Sarah, after a couple of tough games here at home, shooting-wise anyway, how good did it feel just to make one? And then you and Jada, the way that y'all answered there in the last couple of minutes to keep tying up the game.
That's what it's about. You never stop shooting. You never know. The moment's never too big. We got great players on our team. It was about still taking those shots when those opportunities came, because if you turn it down, you never know if you're going to make it. So I think it was about us staying confident, knowing that the ball was going to go in. We're shooters. We shoot every day at the end of practice. So just knowing that the ball was going to go in sooner or later.
Sarah, just talking about this senior group as a whole, what have they meant to you, having so many seniors kind of leaving the program after this year?
They meant a lot. I think, first of all, Nettie coming here and believing in us and wanting to play with me. I was one of the first people that talked to Nettie. Just her coming here and wanting to play with me was so huge to me because I know that she was going to finish, and having a post like that, I knew it would be great together. Then Jada, her coming here was a great addition. We had a good backcourt. I think we were one of the best backcourts in the country. And then you add Yaya, and she got better throughout the season, and just accepting her role, because I think she could have went anywhere in the country and started, but she came here because she wanted to win. And Aaliyah coming here and being a few months with us, we embraced her and she embraced us. I think everybody, when you look at it, even Madison all the way to Jenna was supposed to be with this senior group. This senior group was amazing, and I wouldn't want to do it with nobody else.
Skylar Dixon with the AP. Sarah, Coach Yo also talked about what a great game she thought it was, and she mentioned that there were a couple of times you may have stared her down after hitting a bucket, and she loves that kind of stuff. I know you're disappointed now, but what's the appreciation level on a game like this and sort of the stage that this is, and you all put out a product like that?
I live for games like this. I get excited when you got a dog fight because it's great for women's basketball. It's a great game for TV. But it wasn't a stare down. I think it was just the moment of the game. When you're in a moment like that and you see the ball go in, I'm going to bring some energy. It's not too many times that I react like that, but it was just a fun game for me, knowing it'll be the last one in Foster. I was just excited to play basketball.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the floor?
Chad Vothering, KWTX. Sarah, as you leave Baylor behind now, kind of for next steps, if you're able to comment, I mean, do you see yourself trying to play or maybe even eventually be a coach? Is that ever kind of crossed your mind?
Yes, I do for sure want to keep playing, but when it's all said and done, I do want to be a coach one day. I might come back to Baylor. I gotta start with the little kids first, get a little experience under my belt, and then we're gonna work my way up. But college may be in the back of my mind when it comes to coaching. I don't know yet.
All right, Zach, you have some questions?
Nettie, can you talk a little bit about the Baylor experience and how special this group was, you coming in this year? What was it like overall?
I mean, with this being my third school, like, I can just confidently say that this has been, like, the most family dynamic that I've ever been a part of. It was just really special to be able to come every day and just be around people that truly, like, love and appreciate you and, want to pour into you and you can pour into them. It's just been more than I ever imagined it would be. My coaches are just an elite group of coaches, and, how far they were able to bring us. I'm just really happy that we were playing under them. So I'm very glad that I chose to come here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the floor? All right. If not, thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Do we have any questions for Coach Cullen? 44? Oh, Jerry?
Come on, Jerry.
Nikki, the way that fourth quarter went, back and forth, I mean, they jumped out there with 6 points. Was there anything y'all could have done differently defensively in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we started the quarter getting them to take shots we wanted and not finishing with rebounds. And so I thought that impacted us early. We missed some ball screen coverage assignments. But, there were key points. We ball side helped off of Dean's, and she was the one kid, like, we were not going to help off of, and so I thought we made some mistakes that were not what we were supposed to be doing, and there's game slippage, and these are young people. But I thought we allowed Scott to get comfortable, settle into a pull-up. Obviously she made the shot of the day in the tie game to take the 2-point lead there with under a minute. But, we were supposed to trap that. We didn't. So we missed some defensive assignments. But I also think they made plays, I thought Chinu was probably, to me, until the fourth quarter, had the biggest impact. Her length, her ability to stretch out and get to the rim. I just thought she was really solid for them. She got Yaya in foul trouble. But we just, Yaya's fourth foul was on a missed box out, and not on her, But I just think we had some key plays where we missed assignments.
Nikki, what does a season like this do for just overall support of the program? Bella talked about that in the locker room, just looking up and seeing all the fans in the stands. Do you think the back-to-back round of 32 appearances really aid in that?
Yeah, obviously, last year we were playing in the Sweet 16, and I felt like this group of that first team had a bunch of pros on it, and we were just really, really talented. I think this team was just fun to coach. Seeing Nettie blossom down the stretch of the season, even today, seeing Sarah bounce back and hit her little step back side dribble three, when she missed the three before halftime, I'm like, oh no, that's vintage Sarah. You give her that shot going into halftime. And I knew we were going to have to manufacture points tonight. That's a really good defense, and their length bothers people. But, I think when I was begging for fans early in the season because I thought they were missing out on the opportunity to cheer on an elite group of players, but an elite group of humans that really, really compete for the name on the front of their jersey. I was mad at Yaya for crying after she missed the three because I thought they called the timeout before the foul, and she had to say, "Coach, I fouled out." I'm like, "No, you didn't," because I didn't want her to be sad yet. I just think that we play a fun style of basketball. And when the ball moves around and you see Jada attacking and you see Sarah hitting threes and you see Bugs doing her thing, I don't think people realize what we lost when we lost Bugs. She was a first-team All-League player that led us in scoring and rebounding when she went out. And she took this hard because she was back, but she still wasn't vintage Bugs. She had her moments, but she had a cap of 20 minutes, So I'm like, get her out, got to get her out, and I don't ever worry about getting Bugs out. So, I'm just grateful that down the stretch, when it mattered the most, that the community really got behind us and cheered this team on because I think they played really hard, and they played really hard for the name on the front of their jerseys.
Coach, you talked about how much Sarah means to you, but can you kind of touch on it again? And what's kind of the first memory that pops up when you think of Sarah?
Okay, so true story. I don't know who Sarah Andrews is. When I took this job, I had seen a roster, but Paul Bradshaw, when he went over that roster with me on the interview, did not put who was in a boot and who was in a sling and who was coming back from a knee surgery. And I came for my press conference and found out Sarah had labrum surgery, and Queen was in a knee brace, and Jaden was in a boot. And, it was like they'd all had these postseason procedures. So my first memory of Sarah was in a sling. And I had a coaching colleague that knows me pretty well tell me, I don't think Sarah Andrews is your kind of point guard. I think it probably wasn't until August when she was starting to get to do more that I thought, you have no idea what I like if you don't think I like Sarah Andrews. Because I think before Sarah's foot problems, plural, you could get that every night, the burst. She lost her burst, that she had. And I think this year was a really special year for her because I think what she learned in year 5 was how to play and be effective in, with the limitations she had. I think last year she was still trying to be what I always referred to as sophomore Sarah. She was trying to be that last year, and she physically couldn't do the things that she had done. And I think she learned. I think she learned to lead. I think she learned that she could be that person that got the ball to Nettie and was effective. I think, she could be an elite defender of certain type of players and keep us in games like she did against Grand Canyon, taking the 3 away. So Sarah has been a pain in my rear, but in the best possible way. I know she loves me. I know, and she knows I love her. But I think sometimes, she's a little frisky. And, you know, I always joked with her that, you know, I knew we would have true maturity when she was mad at me, that she would walk in my office and not subtweet and post stories on her DM. And I'd be like, oh, Sarah's mad at me again. Call her in, we'd talk about it, we'd move on, you know, like it just, so she got a lot better at that in year 5. So we made some progress.
All right, Zach?
Coach, do you feel like this year you kind of put your fingerprints on Baylor as a program more than any other past years? I think, you know, more returners than starters or newcomers, and Sarah was the only person that you didn't recruit here. And, like, do you feel more ingrained at Baylor after a year like this?
No. I mean, I think that first year, I mean, we turned the roster over in a year because you have to. Like, it's just, this is the day and age of, that was a senior group. You know, we returned Jaden and Sarah, you know, from that first year's team, really, but losing Jordan and Queen and Liz. I guess we had Caitlin. But I've embraced every team and tried to make it mine, but also theirs. Like, I think that's the thing about coaching that I get the most pleasure out of, is figuring out the dynamic of each team and putting them in actions that they can be successful in. And it's really funny because, you know, people refer to Baylor as kind of post you. Like, you hear all the time, at least on the women's side, that Notre Dame is guard you because they had Enrique and Skylar and, you know, now Hidalgo and Miles. And but Baylor, when Coach Mulkey was here, was very post you. Like, they were in on the top recruiting class, post kids every single year because they played through the post. They didn't shoot a lot of threes, all of that. And so it was amazing how quickly people were like, Nikki doesn't know how to coach a post player. And I would hear that on the recruiting trail, and I would hear that in people's homes. And I guess I can coach a post player. Like, I mean, Nettie's pretty good. And I think, you know, she had 37 when we needed her to have 37. And I think that, you know, my joy in the game is figuring out how each team can be great. And each team is different. So what this year's team looked like won't look the same as next year. And I'm always very, very careful in the locker room to not, like, start talking about next year. Because that locker room is about this year. It's about this team. It's about that group that's never going to be in the locker room that way ever again and look exactly like that. But next year's team's going to look different. Bugs and Bella are going to be different, you know, and we're obviously going to go out and get in the portal like everybody else in the country. Everybody's rosters are veteran, except maybe Iowa State, you know. Like, you look around the country, how many seniors that, you know, I think I was watching a game of their graphic, and their average starting lineup age was like 23 years old. And that's how it is right now. So, you know, I think every year my imprint is that we're going to play hard. We're going to take what the defense gives us. We're going to play to our best matchups. We're going to play hard. And we're going to have some fun. Like, I was really calm today. You know, I just felt like this team, that environment, they needed me to be calm and down to the last play, you know. I'm like, Bella, you're going to attack. Yeah, you're going to hit this 3. And I think she was a little excited about shooting that 3. So, but, yeah, I mean, I think I've had my imprint on this program since the minute I got to Baylor, because I'm not trying to be anybody but me. And I would fail miserably if I tried to be anybody but me. So I'm going to have 2 long-winded answers. I'm not going to say we just have to rebound. I'm going to tell you what scheme we used. I'm going to tell you what we need to do better. Like, I'm going to give away the game plan, because if any coach is worth what they're being paid in today's environment, they're going to scout and know what they need to do, you know? And so, you know, that's me. Like, I'm going to say too much. I'm going to wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm going to love these kids. and I'm just going to do my best day in and day out to be a good representative of Baylor. And we're different. Like, we're really, really different at Baylor. And sometimes I have to watch my tongue. Juliana knows that. I came from a league where you didn't have to hold your tongue. So, I'm not up here talking about the officiating or the 6 fouls called in the entire second half. I'm not talking about that.
I guess I wanted to ask about Nettie as well. Like, what was it like to coach her? Coming into this year, it seemed like she was kind of the piece that you needed, and for the last month, she really played like it. Like, what did she add, both as a player and as a person, to this group?
The unique challenge of the portal is it takes time for every kid to acclimate. It just does. Even Haley Van Lith, who's playing out of her mind right now, played better in February than she did in November for TCU. The confidence just grew and grew and grew. And I think Nettie has, the thing about Nettie that's so infuriating and at the same time so special is she has no idea how good she is. And if she believed in herself half as much as the people around her believe in her, she would be an All-American. Like, she has elite hands, elite feet. She can jump. She can dunk. She can block shots. When she makes up her mind to do something, no one can stop her. It's just her making up her mind that that's what she wants to do every possession. And she had to find her way. Like, not every human being, not every basketball player is built to dominate, is built to, have that mindset. Not every, you hear it, but you hear it less now. Anyone who knows me knows that from the age that my parents put me in my first competitive sport, I hated to lose. I was a sore loser for a really long time because I just hated it that much. And then in high school, I had to learn really quickly that if I smiled and ran the ball and handed it to the officials and flashed my dimples at them, that I had a better chance to get a call the next time than if I blew them up and got mad all the time. But I had to grow that way. I had to grow in my handling of my competitiveness and how that comes out. A lot of people don't understand how competitive I am because I can walk into a room and be a humble loser and appreciate what Ole Miss did today and how hard they played and the plays that they made. But Nettie is just elite. And if she continues to play that way, she's going to make a lot of money playing this sport. And I hope that she falls in love with it. Because you can't make people fall in love with the work. You can't make them fall in love with the game. Some of these kids are just good at basketball, or they're, but if she decides to love it, I would draft her. I've been in those draft rooms. I would draft her. I think she has a chance to get a lot better. I wish I had her longer. I just wish I had her longer because if I had her another year, it'd be a wrap.
Coach, you talked about how next year Bella and Bugs are going to be different. What do you want them to take away from this senior class and what this season was?
I don't know if it's I think both of them found their voice. They had Bugs has been a captain for 2 years. She was a captain as a sophomore. This team needed Bugs' voice, They needed Bugs' energy. So I don't think it's about necessarily the seniors. I think it's about wanting to leave her legacy and to take this program further than it's been since she's been here. So to me, when I look at those two kids that were a part of our first recruiting class, it's more about what are you going to do to help us sign teammates? What are you going to do to improve your ball handling, so we turn the ball over less? Because I think they can both be elite with their versatility. but we got to cut down on turnovers. You know, Bella this year struggled from the foul line. She's too athletic. She's too capable of getting to the foul line to not like own the line, you know, and she's a good enough shooter. So I think it's like, to me, it's more about they know what we want. They know what the expectations are. They know what to expect. They knew what to expect in practice more than most of our seniors and our new guys, you know. So it's about them owning the leadership role. It's about them wanting to be in the gym and get others in the gym with them. You know, like, I think that's the big part is Sarah knew. When I think about our senior class, it was such like a variety. Sarah's the only one that knew all the time what I wanted and can read between the lines, you know. Jade, I was still teaching what I wanted. Sarah could look at me and go, I know, you know, like she knew before I said it whether that was a good decision or not. And so I think, you know, I think it's that for those two. It's just owning the leadership, but also like, you know, coming into being more of a, I mean, Bugs was first team all conference, you know, but, you know, I think Bella can grow and be a first team all conference player next year.
All right, do we have any more questions from the floor? One question back there.
Zoe Del Rosario, KC, and Coach, I wanted to take it back to the game. You played very physical teams back to back, only 1 day of rest. Do you think that played a factor in today?
It probably helped them that they subbed more in their first game. There's no question. You know, Sarah and Jada played a lot of minutes in both games, but you know, we were able to play 3 games in 3 days and then play a lot of minutes last weekend. So I think when you get to this point, they're young. They still have young legs. They don't think they do. But, you know, I think the adrenaline, what you're playing for, what the opportunity in front of you. Sarah didn't look like she had tired legs on her late finish that should have been an and one. You know, like she didn't look tired there to me. You know, Jada made plays late. She made her pull up late. So now I think Nettie got banged on. I mean, I think they were hitting her hard. And there was a lot of reaching going on late. But, you know, I mean, I think our league, you know, everyone's going to talk about the physicality of the SEC. But when you look at the Crooks and the Lees and the Sedonas and you look at what the gauntlet that we went through, the Big 12 was not a finesse league this year. And so because of that, like, is Utah more finesse? Yes. West Virginia isn't finesse, you know? So I think from that perspective, we missed a 3, you know? We missed a wide open 3. But no, I think we made some schematic decisions wrong, and I think we missed some shots, you know? And, you know, they shot 10 more free throws than us.
All right, any more questions from the floor? If not,
We fouled them at the end, too. It would have been closer. We purposely fouled them at the end. And I love Tim Green, so it's not like, and he warned me in the first game. But anyway, thank you.
thank you, Coach. Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com.